New teachers are infamously bad, and ESL newbies are even worse. This is compounded by the fact that they have very little actual academic practice or experience before they go overseas, and even less practical experience in a classroom before they decide to start teaching ESL in another country. But do they have to be so bad? Hi, I'm Teacher David, and this is TESL for Newbies. So what are newbies? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, newbies can be nearly anything that you want, but for this program, for this series, newbies are specifically ESL teachers that are new in the classroom, new at doing the job of teaching overseas. So this series then is going to focus on how these newbies have struggles, what those struggles are, and which includes stuff like when you go overseas, culture shock, bad jobs, bad bosses, horrible students. There's a million different things that can affect newbies that they didn't expect to happen. Many, many things. So I'd like to focus on these things through my own struggles to help newbies perhaps become better aware of what they can expect to happen. And while I've been thinking about this, while I've been wondering, what exactly do newbies, when they get overseas, struggle with, I recognized that a pattern exists. A pattern that can be broken down, where I've kind of theoretically, practically broken it down into 4 stages. The stages each then are broken down into 6 different steps. So hopefully the newbie can follow all 24 of these steps to become better acquainted or better ready, perhaps, to be in the classroom, to teach in the classroom, to deal with things like culture shock, and to deal and become comfortable with their new job as an ESL teacher. So what are the 4 stages that I decided to come up with? Well, the 4 stages are, number 1, getting prepared. Getting prepared is really important. For me, I did as much language-based subjects as I could. That helped me. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I also did practical jobs, practical experiences. So that way, when I got overseas into a classroom, it wasn't my first time teaching. That includes public speaking. And the second one then is getting oriented. So when you get overseas, it takes a little while. When you're a newbie, or as people like to say, just off the boat, it takes a little while to get used to the new culture. There could be many things that are different from your culture. For example, when I went to South Korea, that was a vastly different culture than what I expected or experienced while living in Toronto, in Canada. So that's one thing. You need to get used to that new way of life, and there are going to be many shocks and surprises. And a word of advice right now, straight off the bat, if you think the place you're going to go to is going to be just like the place you left, and if you want it to be like that, maybe you should stay at home. Okay, the next one, tying into that idea of staying at home, is getting frustrated. That's the 3rd stage. Getting frustrated has 6 steps, but I could have done probably 600 steps. A big thing, for example, is people who, as I alluded to rather, people leave their home country, go to another country, yet still expect things to be the same as they're used to. They can't get used to local norms, cultures, ways of being, values. Those are, they can be frustrating. For me, as a Canadian, for example, I was very used to, when I stand in line, you leave space in line. But here in Taiwan, people are really close together, or they think you're not in line. It seems like a small thing, but it can become frustrating, and it become a big problem for you if you let it build up. So those are small examples of what I think that Part C, the getting frustrated, can lead to. And the final part, D, is getting settled. If you've been in the country for a while, if you allow yourself to open up to that country, if you find a good job, if you find maybe good friends, maybe even a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is that you find, hobbies, it can make life much, much better. It can make you feel like you're at home, even though you're no longer at home, that is your home country. So you might be asking yourself, and rightly so, why should you bother listening to me? Who am I to tell you what these things are, what you should expect, what you should do to prepare? Well, I have some background, and I think that background helps me. So first of all, I've been teaching English for well over 20 years. I've taught English in Canada, I taught English in South Korea, and I've taught English in Taiwan. By far, most of my time has been spent in Taiwan, especially southern Taiwan, a city called Tainan. So that gives me quite a bit of practical experience as a newbie and as somebody who's gotten settled. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier on, I wanted to prepare myself as much as I could. My undergrad was spent studying philosophy, which is a field, as you can imagine, that deals with language and logic, that deals with clarity. So that helped me immensely. It's kind of funny. People often say, what good is philosophy? Does that really help you? It has helped me immensely. I can't understate it. With just being able to speak in front of people and put a position forward that they can understand. Also, I did a TESL graduate course. That course was 12 months with a practicum. And during that course, to make sure I was ready to teach overseas, I took as many linguistics and grammar-based classes as I possibly could. Because when you get overseas, one of the biggest problems schools have with hiring foreign teachers is that their grammar, their ability to explain English isn't as good as the locals. Most locals, their grammar can run circles around foreign teachers. Make sure you're not one of those teachers. Make sure you understand the fundamentals of your own language. Another thing that I did, which helped me to get to further get more jobs, to get more experience, was to do a master's degree in education. And I focused on second language acquisition. So this helped me when I wanted to work at local universities, which I have for a number of years. It also helped me when I wanted to become a proofreader for a local university. So that's what's going to happen for me. That's what I found helped me a lot. I was fully prepared when I was overseas, and while I was here, I continued to get further and further prepared. I did a teaching license. I'm now a licensed elementary school teacher. I tried to do as many things as I can over the years, including starting podcasts. I even tried to do a writing podcast, which failed, because I'm a newbie at doing podcasts. So everybody's a newbie at something. So that's why I have notes. That's why I have to refer to things, because the truth is, everything is difficult. But I watched a million videos on how to do podcasts. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still a newbie, but they help. That's what I want to do for you. I want to help you to get better prepared for when you want to start a teaching career in ESL, overseas, or even at home. I can give you some guidance, give you some steps to follow along if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so that's it for this brief redo of my introduction. Previously, as if you watched my previous video, you'll realize that I scripted everything, and that didn't really work out well. I'm a teacher. I'm used to talking in front of people, and that's what I want to do. So I'll give myself some notes. I'll be able to cheat a little bit, but it's basically I have all the ideas in my head, and I'm going to give those ideas to you as they come along. So what's to come up? Next week, we're going to have my first real lesson, step 1, and that's going to be confusing abbreviations. As you probably have noticed during this podcast, my discussion here, my monologue essentially, that I've been using the term, the abbreviation, the initialism, if you will, ESL, English as a Second Language. Well, there are many initialisms that you can use. EFL, EAL. Anyway, there are a host of them, and it becomes confusing. So next week, I'm going to start by clarifying that, which could help you, because depending on where you want to teach, studying the right stuff is going to come in handy. Knowing your students based on the right abbreviations, interestingly enough, that can help you a lot. All right, so I'll try to produce a video every 2 weeks. This video is in between the 2 weeks, so actually my next video will come out next week. All right, I hope to see you then, and if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and have a great week. Bye for now.